I feel like with our supervisory relationship, I know even before going into this, we work really well together. I may not always feel like that with all four of us working together, but I feel like me and you, because we were kind of in school, not at the exact same time for our master's program, but we were learning a lot of the similar things because we were closer together in school, that we just understand each other more and we're able to work with each other a little bit easier. Not that it's challenging with the other ones, but that we relate to each other more. And I feel like it's just positive, and we never really have any negative interactions, and so just overall I feel like everything's been pretty good.
Okay, I'm glad it's hopefully been helpful to kind of get some feedback on ways to work with students and ways to incorporate new procedures and practices with our counseling program.
And I know since, just personally how I feel about it is, because we can relate and things like that, it's easy to come to you with an issue and explain like, hey, this is what's going on, and I know you're still going to give me feedback in a positive way, and it's going to be helpful. And you may let me vent or rant for a second, but then we're able to come up with a solution to whatever's going on.
Very good. Definitely glad that it's been helpful. Do you feel like there's anything I could improve upon, or anything that it's not, I guess, 100%?
I feel like, and I can't remember the exact terms for the relationship style that you were wanting for our supervisory relationships. But I feel like with that, with the humanistic style, I feel like it's been very positive. I feel like, it is a more natural style of supervisory relationship, and that's exactly how our, work relationship was before going into this.
Yeah, I agree. It's been seamless, which is nice, and it's more comfortable to get feedback and talk with, if your counselors that you're comfortable with and you feel like can relate to you. So good. I'm definitely glad that it's been helpful. I know solution-focused theory is kind of the main theory that you've talked about utilizing with students when you work with them. So I guess maybe give me some feedback on how that's going. Do you feel like you're able to incorporate that when you're working with students, or is it a challenge?
I feel like it definitely depends on the student that you're working with at that time. If the student is open to talking with you about what the problem is and focusing on how to fix that problem rather than just always constantly like focusing on what the problem is, if they're ready to move on and work with you on how to fix the problem, it works really well. And allowing them to work with you to come up with solutions rather than always, telling them what to do. I think that definitely helps, especially when they're coming to middle school, because they don't always get that freedom. They feel like at home, mom and dad's always telling them what to do. But giving them that opportunity to share how they feel like, or what they feel would solve their problems and fix the issues that they're going through, that's what I really want to focus on with them, because I want them to feel like they are capable of making decisions for themselves, because that's something that I feel like a lot of them feel like they've never gotten that opportunity, that they don't get to make that decision. Mom and dad makes that decision, or the teachers make that decision for them. And I want to give them that opportunity and show them that they are capable of coming up with solutions on their own and don't always need someone to tell them what to do in the end.
Not with those problem solving skills and communication skills, because that is like an area that students struggle with.
Right.
Utilizing those methods of having them problem solve and try to find solutions builds those skills, which is beneficial for them in the long run. Not only now. Are there any new strategies kind of in the solution-focused theory that you have tried recently, or ones that maybe we could look into for you to try?
That's a good question. I know recently with, testing going on and things like that, my focus more so has been with them, let's come up together with some ways to solve your problem. And let's try XYZ. If that doesn't help, then we need to come back and we need to see what is causing this problem, and the antecedent and the behavior, and then how can we actually solve this if these things aren't working. What can we change about ourselves, or what we can't change someone else. What can I change, and what can I do differently that's going to help this situation? But that's been mostly because I feel like, we don't have a ton of time with kids with testing and all the other events that are going on during the day. But I would definitely like to look into some other strategies that we could potentially use with our students, and even talk with teachers about that they can help teach our students, because we want them to learn how to problem solve. And I feel like they don't get to do that as much as maybe we would have in school.
Maybe incorporating some strengths-based strategies too to help them recognize they do have things that they're good at, and there are ways that they can incorporate their strengths into solutions that can help with whatever problems they're having.
And really, getting them to understand that they have strengths. Even though they may not be good at school, or they may not be good at this, there are things that they are good at, even though they may not see that every day, or they may not do those things every day.
There's the value in it. So I think that'd be good. And we can definitely look at this some more. I'll research some interventions that you can try, and also we can get some feedback on. So I know our time, working together in the supervisory relationship for my course is nearing a close, but through my readings and research that I've done, I completed a paper on peer supervision, and some of the options with peer supervision or some models were group supervision, which is something that I think that hopefully, after having completed this course, I feel like I've learned a lot, and I know you've completed it as well. So between us learning how to be supervisors, I'm hoping that we can incorporate more peer supervision into our work here at the middle school. Since we do have a counseling team, I think it would be feasible for us to try to start, utilizing each other as resources, and continue the supervision process, because I do feel like it's beneficial. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think, closer to the beginning of the year, I do feel like we were having those counselor meetings with the 4 counselors that we have here at school. But with, the busier we got, the more meetings we had, the more this or more that, we did kind of fall off on that, and we quit having those. And I think it's important for not only me and you, but everyone to have that time to talk about what's going on. And, with that humanistic style, that is a time where we can talk more freely about what's going on, and get, your professional opinion and my professional opinion, and everyone's, on what kind of problems we're having and what we're seeing with our kids. Because, in 2 years, you're going to have the same kids that I have currently. And same thing goes for the 7th grade counselor, and, our support counselor. She works with all 3 grades, and I feel like they need to know what we're going through, what problems we're actually seeing, so we can be more preventative the next school year, and work more on the front end to solve those problems, rather than on the back end trying to fix everything and work to clean up the mess, rather than, being proactive, right?
And 2, I especially feel like it's helpful to have some feedback on clinical skills, because in my opinion, I've seen an increase in students that just have some pretty significant issues that, of course, work with counselors outside of school, but
It's some limit.